something pretty unusual happened in NASCAR early in 2026, and it involved Kyle Larson, a medical condition, and a chain reaction that nobody saw coming. This story started with one driver getting sick, turned into a scheduling mess, and ended with a decision that actually tells you a lot about how Junior Motorsports thinks about its future. A lot of people who saw the headlines probably assumed something had gone wrong with Larson's main Cup Series ride at Hendrick Motorsports. That is not what happened at all. Larson actually signed a 5-year contract extension with Hendrick Motorsports back in February, which keeps him in the number 5 car all the way through 2031. So there is no drama there, no panic, nothing falling apart. This is a completely different story. This is about the number 88 car at Junior Motorsports, and once you understand that, the whole thing becomes a lot more interesting to follow. If you enjoy NASCAR content like this and you want to stay on top of every twist and turn in the garage, do us a quick favor right now. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a fellow NASCAR fan. We are a small channel working hard to grow past 3,000 subscribers, and we put real effort into breaking these stories down properly. Your support genuinely makes a difference, and it only takes a second. Now, let's get into everything that happened. To really understand this whole situation, you have to go back to how Junior Motorsports set up the number 88 program at the start of 2026. The plan was actually pretty creative and well thought out. Rajah Caruth was going to be the main driver for the bulk of the schedule, running 23 races in that car throughout the season. The other 10 races were going to be split among 4 Hendrick Motorsports Cup drivers, specifically Kyle Larson, William Byron, Chase Elliott, and Alex Bowman. So from the very beginning, this was never meant to be a car where one backup driver just floats in and out without any real purpose. It was designed to be something much more meaningful than that. It was a development car for a young driver, a showcase car for some of the biggest names in the sport, and a statement from Hendrick-powered equipment all at the same time. That combination made it one of the most interesting rides in the entire O'Reilly Auto Parts series before anything even went wrong. Rajah Caruth was stepping into a real opportunity here, not just a filler seat. The Hendrick Cup stars were going to rotate through, which meant the whole program was going to get elite attention throughout the season. William Byron had already made one of those guest appearances at Phoenix and finished 13th. Then Kyle Larson got his turn at Las Vegas, and suddenly this stopped feeling like just a neat little side story and started feeling like one of the most loaded rides in the whole series. Everyone was paying attention to what this car was doing. Then came the moment that flipped everything upside down. Alex Bowman first started feeling vertigo symptoms during the Cup race at Circuit of the Americas on March 1st. It got bad enough that he had to climb out of his car after completing 71 of the 95 laps, and Matt Snyder came in to finish the race for him. That alone was a significant moment, but it was only the beginning. A few days later, Bowman missed the Phoenix Cup race entirely because of the vertigo diagnosis, with Anthony Alfredo stepping in to fill that seat. Then he missed Las Vegas as well, where Justin Allgaier took over the number 48 car. By that point, this had grown well beyond a simple one-week absence. Bowman was clearly dealing with something that was going to keep him out for a while, and that had a direct ripple effect on the number 88 Junior Motorsports schedule. Here is where the two stories collide. Bowman had originally been scheduled to drive the number 88 Junior Motorsports car at Darlington as part of that planned rotation. But once Hendrick announced that Bowman was going to miss at least 3 more Cup races, including Darlington, Martinsville, and Bristol, his O'Reilly Series start at Darlington disappeared from the schedule at the same time. NASCAR then confirmed that Kyle Larson would step in to replace Bowman in the number 88 at Darlington. This came right after Larson had already won in that same car at Las Vegas, which meant he was going back-to-back in the number 88 without anyone originally planning for that. One medical situation had reshuffled both the Cup Series lineup and the second-tier series lineup at the exact same moment. That is a pretty wild chain reaction when you think about it. Now, it is important to talk about how Larson actually performed in that car, because he did not just show up and cruise around trying not to break anything. He made the whole conversation louder by being immediately and genuinely fast. At Las Vegas, he started from second position, dropped all the way back to 11th at some point early in the race, but the team made the right adjustments and he came charging back through the field, eventually taking control late in the going and winning the race for Junior Motorsports. That was not a casual guest appearance. That was Kyle Larson doing exactly what Kyle Larson does when you put good equipment underneath him. He made a side story feel like the main event. Then Darlington took the drama up another notch entirely. Larson started from the pole position, went out and led the first 94 laps, won both stages, and looked like the completely dominant car for most of the afternoon. It genuinely appeared like nobody was going to be able to touch him. But a slow pit stop under the final caution of the race buried him back in the field, and Justin Allgaier grabbed the lead on the last restart. Larson fought back hard but could only manage to recover to fourth place at the finish. So across two straight starts in the number 88, he went from winning at Las Vegas to being dominant for long stretches at Darlington before just missing out on closing it. That kind of two-race stretch naturally got people asking whether Junior Motorsports might just keep putting Larson in that car as long as they possibly could, given how quick he was every single time the car hit the track. From a pure speed standpoint, it is completely understandable why fans were thinking that way. He won one race, came very close to winning the next, and made the number 88 look like a dangerous piece of equipment each time it unloaded. But here's the thing about racing programs at this level. They are not built around what looks the most exciting in any given moment. They are built around a larger plan that stretches across an entire season, and in this case, that larger plan still matters a great deal. Raja Carruth is not just some placeholder who happened to be nearby when a seat opened up. He was brought in specifically to contest 23 races for Junior Motorsports, along with finishing out the rest of the full 33-race schedule with Jordan Anderson Racing. Through 6 races this season, he was sitting 10th in the O'Reilly standings, with 151 points and 3 top 10 finishes already on the board. So even though Larson lit up the number 88 in a big way, the core mission of this program was always to develop Carruth and keep him in a strong position throughout the entire season-long battle. That is the real heart of this story. The buzz that Larson created was real and deserved, but Carruth is still the bigger long-term investment in that seat, and everyone inside Junior Motorsports knows that. The point of bringing the Hendrick Cup drivers in for guest appearances was never to push the young driver to the side or make him feel like second priority. The goal was to elevate the entire program around him, give the crew the experience of working with elite drivers so they can carry those lessons forward, give the sponsors massive visibility and positive attention, give the organization more chances to collect wins and build momentum, and then hand all of that experience and energy back to the driver who is actually out there trying to build a full season. That structure made sense at the start of the year, and it still makes sense now. There's also the Cup Series angle to keep in mind. While none of this is a Hendrick replacement story in any way, it did affect how Larson's March workload ended up looking. Instead of just making his one originally planned number 88 appearance at Las Vegas, he wound up adding Darlington as well because Bowman could not go. Heading into Martinsville on the Cup side, Larson actually carries a strong track record. Hendrick noted that he hasn't finished worse than 6th at Martinsville since April of 2022, which is a remarkable stat for a track that is notoriously difficult to get right consistently. So Larson has plenty to focus on with his regular Cup program while the number 88 story gets sorted out on the other side. So with all of that background in place, here is what was officially confirmed. Kyle Larson's replacement in the number 88 Junior Motorsports car for the Martinsville O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race is Rajah Caruth. NASCAR's official Martinsville entry list showed Caruth back in the Junior Motorsports Chevrolet, which confirms that Larson's stretch in that car ends after Darlington, and the team returns to the original structure they planned from the start of the year. That is the right call, and here's why it matters beyond just one race weekend. If Junior Motorsports had kept Larson in the number 88 again at Martinsville, the entire message of the program would have started to shift. It would have stopped looking like a shared, carefully planned development program and started looking like a reaction to short-term results. That is not the kind of signal you want to send if your actual goal is to build Rajah Caruth into a legitimate long-term contender. You want him back in the car, back on the schedule, and back in a rhythm that carries him through the rest of the season. One hot streak from a superstar guest driver should not be enough to derail a carefully constructed plan, and Junior Motorsports clearly understood that. The bigger question for the season is whether Caruth can take the momentum and attention that this number 88 program generated over the past 2 weeks and turn it into something meaningful for himself. He was already 10th in points through 6 races. This is not the time to let that position drift away just because Kyle Larson looked electric in the car for a couple of weekends. The chase picture is going to take shape later in the season, and every race between now and then is important for where Caruth ends up when it counts. This moment also says something clear about what kind of organization Junior Motorsports is trying to be. They got the publicity from having Larson in the car. They got the win at Las Vegas. They got another dominant performance at Darlington that had people talking all week. And then they still returned the seat to the driver they made a commitment to at the start of the year. That is not a small thing. That tells you this team is not just chasing whatever makes the loudest noise in any given week. They are trying to win in the short term while also building something that lasts. Those are 2 genuinely different goals, and smart organizations know how to hold both of them without getting confused about which one matters more at any given moment. The Bowman situation also should not get forgotten in all of this, because his health is still the original reason any of this changed in the first place. Hendrick confirmed that Bowman would miss the Cup races at Darlington, Martinsville, and Bristol while continuing to recover from vertigo. Justin Allgaier was again lined up as the relief driver in the number 48 Cup car at Martinsville, which means the garage is still actively adjusting around Bowman's absence even after Larson's extra number 88 run comes to an end. Nobody knows exactly when Bowman will be fully healthy and ready to return, and that uncertainty is still hanging over the Hendrick side of this picture. The full story here is actually a pretty remarkable one when you step back and look at all the moving pieces together. A carefully planned schedule got completely reshaped by one unexpected medical issue. Larson turned what could have been a quiet substitute appearance into a massive talking point by being genuinely fast and winning a race, and Junior Motorsports made the smart choice to absorb all the disruption, collect the benefits that came with it, and then return the seat to the driver they are actually trying to develop for the long run. Every part of that chain worked the way it was supposed to work. Larson did exactly what a superstar is supposed to do when you hand him a good car. He showed up, performed at the highest level, won, nearly won again, and raised the profile of the entire program in the process. Junior Motorsports did exactly what a smart organization is supposed to do when things get reshuffled around them. They stayed calm, made use of the opportunity, and then came right back to the plan. And now Rajah Caruth gets to climb back into one of the most watched cars in the O'Reilly series, a car that the whole NASCAR world has been paying close attention to for the past 2 weekends. That is a significant opportunity sitting right in front of him, and what he does with it is going to be one of the more interesting storylines to watch as the season continues to unfold. Can he take everything this number 88 team just showed under Larson and turn it into something big for himself at Martinsville and beyond? That is the real question now. and we will start getting answers very soon. If you made it this far, we would really appreciate a like and a subscribe. We are a growing NASCAR channel trying to bring you thorough and honest breakdowns of every big story coming out of the garage. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think. Did Junior Motorsports make the right call putting Raja Carruth back in the number 88, or should Larson have stayed in that car a little longer given how strong he looked behind the wheel? We want to hear your take.